ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಪ್ರಮೋದ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ನಾನು 1983 ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋದು. ಓದಿದ್ದು ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೇ. ಸೊ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮೈಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಎ ಟ್ರೂ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಿಯನ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಆಲ್ ಮೈ ಲೈಫ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸಿ ಹೌ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ವೇರ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಈ ಗುಲ್ಮೋಹರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೈನ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರೋದು. ಒಂದು ಫೇಸ್ ಬಂತು, ಒಂದು 30 ವರ್ಷ 25 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯಿತು, ಮರಗಳಿಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾದವು. ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಕಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರೋಡ್ ವೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೈನಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ವೇರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ streets, residential streets are devoid of trees, right? I mean, many of them have been cut because 30-40 site-alli car park madakagala, or main roads, many of them are upgraded, or should I call it upgraded, or basically expanded to allow more cars to go through and all that. So this is the kind of evolution we have seen. Whether it's for good or bad, it's debatable, but that has happened, right? So the lot of green cover has been lost. Now, what is the type of Bangalore I imagine our city has to be? For example, if you take Mumbai or Chennai, or naturally they have a river front, a sea front, they have promenades, there is a public space for people to go to whenever they want to, right? I mean, if you think of Pondicherry, it's the same. If you think of Hyderabad, they have a lake front, and how good it is, it's a different thing, but I feel it is pretty good. Right, they have good roads constructed all throughout the lake, and people do think of going out to the lake if they have to go out. Bengaluru, if you ask people where do you want to go out, they say Phoenix Mall, Vega Mall, or Meenakshi Mall and Mantri Mall, right? Mantri Mall ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ರಶ್ ಇದೆ. That's the public space that has come down to in Bangalore. Right? How many people say, hey, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಹೊರಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವೀಗ ಬೆಳಂದೂರು ಲೇಕ್ಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮಡಿವಾಳ ಲೇಕ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ಸೀನ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಸೇ? ಲಾಲ್ಬಾಗು ಹೋಗೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಜನ ಮರ್ತೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯ. ಸೊ that's how this city has downgraded itself. Now, what kind of Bangalore we want is, of course, a lot of double-decker buses, a lot of beautiful buses, a reduced number of cars and two-wheelers, lost mile connectivity for the metro. I stay in JP Nagar, and if I have to go to Hebbal, it's a nightmare. By the time I reach golf course, I would have forgotten why I left the house in the first place. ರೈಟ್? ನಾನು ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ? CTRಗೆ ಮಸಾಲೆ ದೋಸೆ ತಿನ್ನೋಕೆ ಹೊರಟನೋ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾನ್ಯತಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಹೊರಟನೋ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ನಂಗೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟುಡೇ. So elevated corridor is not something which is required immediately as of now. I was one of the people who used to argue that it is required, but then I started really thinking what is the best way out. In terms of the money which is involved here and what it takes, right? The 15,000 or 30,000 crores, what you're talking about, that's a huge amount of money to construct one road, right? So that's where I feel, even though the suburban train is something which is not going to directly help me, I'm not a direct beneficiary of a suburban rail in JP Nagar. But if people start taking it from, say, Mysore Road, or from Majestic to Whitefield, or multiple other places, many of the parts of Bangalore is going to see a big reduction in the number of private vehicles, right? So that in turn helps indirectly a lot of other people who are going to be using other modes of transport in the city. So there's a direct and an indirect impact which is not spoken very frequently, right? That is one part. And what kind of Bangalore I want to see? A Jayanagar 4th block complex area which doesn't allow any traffic in, no vehicles. You just walk on the road where that Ganesh Juice Center and the water tank is there. You think of Brigade Road and Commercial Street, which is not going to have any parking, not going to have any vehicles on it, including Church Street, right? Why do you want to construct a road using crores of rupees and then allow cars to pass on that? That's nonsensical, right? So you have constructed tender sure footpaths and all that, but at the end of the day you see big cables and heavy cables which are dangling from the top of some temporary poles. I mean, why do you allow these stuff? And why do you allow putting up of big banners of you and your friends doing 50th birthday, 60th birthday and all that? And his friends, a list of 100 photos which are Timanna, Somappa, ಅವರು ಇವರು ಎಲ್ಲರದು ಫೋಟೋ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರ ಫೋಟೋ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮಗೇನಾಗಬೇಕು? ಯಾರೋ 50ನೇ ಬರ್ತಡೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನನಗೇನಾಗಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ? ಡೋಂಟ್ ಅಲೋ ದೀಸ್ ಬುಲ್ಶಿಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಸಿಟಿ. ನಾವು ಸೈಲೆಂಟಾಗಿ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ ಸರಿ, that doesn't mean you guys can do whatever you want to do, right? I mean, there has to be some sort of governance, there has to be some sort of law-abiding approach, which is seen everywhere from citizens as well as from the people who govern and the people who are in power. So this is what I want to talk about. And also coming to taxis, right? Even though it's not a private transport, it's sort of a sharing transport, you may say. Even in that, if I come out of a mall after a dinner, or probably I watch a movie and come out at 10 o'clock in the night or 9 o'clock in the night, I don't want to take my mobile out and use an app and wait for a taxi which is 15 minutes away, when I actually see 2 or 3 taxis in front of me with drivers sleeping in it, and I won't be able to call them because I'm not able to book it on my mobile, right? So that's a screwed up algorithm again. So you want to see taxis in front of you, able to call them like you do an auto, and just hop into it and go. That's what happens in many of the cities, whether it's Bangkok or Singapore. It works pretty well. Bangkok is as crowded as Bangalore, but they have done BRT, MTR and taxis and all these things which work together, and it makes things pretty good. So think about double-decker buses. Think about, it's a tourist attraction as well as a great efficient mode of transport. Think about suburban trains, which has an indirect effect on the people who don't use the suburban train as well. Think about executing metro efficiently and quickly. Think about public spaces for the people. Think about the lakes. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಣೆದುರುಗಡೆ ಲೇಕ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಿಡಬೇಡಿ, ಅರ್ಥವಾಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ಯಾರೋ ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ ಲೇಕ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬಟ್ ಯಾರೋ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಲೆಸನ್ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಎಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೊ ಮಚ್.